Hi, today I'm going to be explaining some of the different volumes in the lungs using this graph, and I'm going to be showing the way in which I remember it as someone who knows a lot of bones, who does archaeological research. So I have this handy dandy cat leg here with me today to help illustrate some of these points. So whenever it comes to the way I remember things is I kind of think of building up a leg and the different components about it. So if we start with the total lung capacity, that would be effectively your entire leg. So looking over here, that constitutes the femur, the patella, the tibia, theoretically also the fibula, but I didn't include it just for simplicity. And this metatarsal here is just supposed to be representing the entirety of the foot. Okay, so the total lung capacity is going to be roughly 5,700 milliliters, and it includes all of the volumes that your lung can hold. So going back to break this down, the tidal volume, this is going to be the volume that you are normally breathing out in an unforced breath, in and out. That's what it is. And that, in our example, is going to be represented by the patella. Okay, very small amount. Okay, now when it comes to this inspiratory reserve volume, which is roughly 3,000, that's basically after you breathe in, this tidal volume, the amount that you can still breathe in. Okay, and that's represented here by the femur. Okay, then we move on to the expiratory reserve volume. This is basically illustrating after breathing out, the volume you can still expire. So that is represented here by the tibia. Okay, we're building this leg up. Then we have the residual volume, which is about 12,000 milliliters, and that I have represented by essentially the foot, again here symbolized by a singular metatarsal. And so then we can start thinking about, these individual parts that are building up this leg of the total lung capacity together as little bits and pieces. So when it comes to the vital capacity, that's going to be your inspiratory reserve volume, your femur, plus your tidal volume, your patella, plus this expiratory reserve volume of the tibia. So your vital capacity is essentially all of your leg minus your foot. Okay, when we come to thinking about that. Then when we look at the functional residual capacity, the way this one works is it's looking at the expiratory reserve volume, which is again your tibia, plus the residual volume here of your foot. So functional residual capacity is kind of equivalent to the bottom half of your leg. Then when it comes to the inspiratory capacity, that is essentially the top portion of your leg. So your femur and also the patella, which includes here the tidal volume as well as the inspiratory reserve volume. So I hope this maybe helps break down kind of thinking about these pieces building together and kind of separating, and also how they kind of form one constituent part that can be broken down into little parts and then perceived as individual pieces. So just to go through all of this again so we're all clear. Inspiratory reserve volume, that's equivalent to your femur. Tidal volume, your patella. Residual volume, that's the foot. The expiratory reserve volume, that's your tibia. Vital capacity is everything but your foot. Functional residual capacity, bottom part of the tibia and foot. Inspiratory capacity, everything else, the top part, the patella, and the femur, and the total lung capacity being all for the femur, tibia, patella, and your foot. I hope this helps maybe give you something to kind of think about, and perhaps if you're focusing on something like this on an exam, maybe looking at your leg can help you recall this diagram and break down the individual pieces.